Well, let's now speak to Olga Cherevko, who is the spokesperson for the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA. She joins us from the Jordanian capital, Amman. Thank you so much for your time. So OCHA is saying that Gaza is the only place on earth today where 100% of the population is at risk of famine. What specific indicators led you to this alarming conclusion?
Thanks so much for having me, Kali. Yes, indeed. This is one of these situations in which 100% of the population is in desperate need of assistance. And what I mean is not only food, but they need every service known to man that sustains life, which is not available here. There's been a total blockade imposed on Gaza for almost 80 days, after which the Israeli authorities have partially lifted it to allow very limited volumes of aid to enter. But these volumes are nowhere near enough to address the actual needs of the people here on the ground.
Can you walk us through the technical definition of famine under international standards and what thresholds must be met for that, and how close is Gaza to those thresholds today?
Well, the international classification report, the group that deals with monitoring and analyzing these thresholds, have published a report, and I encourage everyone to look at it. And it outlines specifically the criteria that were met, and it includes things like malnutrition rates and things like this. And it was very clear in stating that 1 in 5 in Gaza, 1 in 5 people is facing currently starvation. So we have reached levels that we never actually imagined were possible, levels of despair and levels of hunger and levels of this complete deterioration of human dignity.
Are we talking about famine in some areas already underway, or is this a worst-case scenario based on current data?
There are, again, 1 in 5 is currently facing starvation. There are other scenarios that either plan for the same conditions to be in place for the coming months, which will, of course, see a much further deterioration of the situation. But there, and then they also account for any possible changes in the situation. So far, we haven't seen any significant changes. And as I mentioned, much more aid needs to enter to be able to address these concerns. And it's not only food that needs to enter, but it also needs to be other supplies, including things like cooking gas, fuel, shelter, and other things that people need here to survive.
What's happening in northern Gaza? Can you tell us about the situation there? Access, of course, has been very limited to the north. Do you have any access or recent information from those areas, and whether aid is getting through to those areas at all?
No, it's absolutely terrible. There, as you mentioned in the beginning, the last partially operating hospital, Al-Auda, was ordered to evacuate yesterday after multiple attacks in the area and specifically on the hospital. In the past year, since the beginning of this war, our health partners have documented about 700 attacks on healthcare across the Gaza Strip. And so now the entire North Gaza Governorate has no functioning hospital at all. And of course, attacks there continue. There was a new displacement order that was issued yesterday covering about 30% of Gaza, including Jabalia and eastern parts of Gaza City. So, I mean, the situation is catastrophic.
We have a little bit of food aid going in at the moment, distributed by this Israeli US-backed organization, which the UN has said it was not involved with. The UN is saying that 600 of 900 authorized trucks, aid trucks, have been offloaded and even fewer distributed. Can you talk to us a little bit more about what's obstructing the aid to getting to the people who need it the most right now? Is it the Israeli military operations, permit delays, infrastructure collapse, or all of the above, and including perhaps Israel just wanting this plan, this aid agency to be solely responsible for aid deliveries within Gaza?
Well, it's definitely a combination of these factors that you just listed. One of them, of course, is the ongoing hostilities on the ground, in which we basically have to maneuver our movements to where the Israeli forces have to pause their operations to allow us to pass and to enable this movement. This all takes hours, sometimes days. Many of our missions are denied consistently to reach these areas. Sometimes when we wait for a green light, that green light only comes at the end of the day when it's already dark and it's becoming increasingly dangerous for us to operate. Of course, it's also destroyed infrastructure, destroyed roads on which our trucks become damaged as they move through, and these factors, of course, they and of course also the transfer of the trucks between the Israeli side to the Palestinian side, and the collection and things like this.
Thank you so much for talking to us about this. Olga Cherevko, spokesperson for the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, joining us there from Amman, Jordan. Thank you for your time.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.